Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday with Wendy. I'm excited about what I'm about to teach you all today because it's something I haven't taught before, but it's something that is very important in understanding why I do what I do as a coach and as a massage therapist. And the heart-centered topic for today is habits. So my name is Wendy Nelson and I am a body mind coach. I've been practicing massage therapy for 18 years and love diving into the coaching world because when I help you to understand the connection between your mind and how it affects your body, we can release blocked emotions, blocked thoughts, and blocked habits that are causing your body pain. And when it comes to habits, we oftentimes get down on ourselves about the habits that we've created in our lives. And you know, I'm just like anybody else where I will to eat something without even knowing it. It's just, and I realized after that I shouldn't have eaten that thing, or I ate too much of it, or I had this like goal of cutting back on sugar, and I find myself at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't accomplished my goal today. I've eaten the sugar, and where am I at? It makes me feel, sometimes I just get down on myself, and we oftentimes do. So, reason why I want to talk about habits today is because forming new habits is probably the hardest thing we as humans try to do in this life. Why? Because we want to create new habits because we naturally want to grow. We are humans who love to learn, love to expand, love to learn new things. And when we're not growing, we feel stagnant. We feel like we're not moving forward. It's just a feeling, right? So forming new and positive habits around your goal helps us in our growth. Why do we want to form new habits? It's because we are naturally wanting to grow and learn and move forward in our life, right? So when is a good time to start a new habit? When we decide we want to create a new goal is when we're feeling the worst in our life. When we're kind of hit that rock bottom. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready to change what's going on in my life. I am so ready to start something new. So when is it a good time to start a new goal? It's at those points, those low points in our life. Those low points are times when we feel the most uncomfortable, we feel most frustrated, we feel most pain in our physical body, we feel most emotional discomfort, and we find ourselves kind of beating ourselves up a lot about what we're doing in our lives and what we're not accomplishing and what we would like to accomplish. All right, so when it comes to habits, I'm going to describe to you maybe a new thing that you haven't heard before and something new, something that I have learned before in my life and understand for myself, but never have actually taught it. So bear with me while I walk you through this and to help you understand why it's so difficult to form new habits. All right, so there is a hormone in the brain called dopamine, and I know a lot of you have heard of this hormone, but how it works is takes us a little bit deeper into understanding why habits, how habits are formed, and why it's hard to start new habits. Dopamine is a reward hormone, and when we are looking for reward, which is accomplishing something or feeling good about ourselves, we are looking for a reaction usually from other people, and also and the reaction we get from other people, it influences how we feel about ourselves. So what is the reward? What is the reward that we're looking for? The reward is usually normally what we go for in the reward is something easy. What is easy and reward? What is most easy? It's like pushing the easy button on that, on the the commercials that you see on Staples. Is pushing the easy button. That's usually what our brains and our bodies want to achieve, is that easy button. That is the reward. The reward also is the pat on the back. Hey, you did a good job. This is great. Another reward is when we post something on Facebook and we count how many likes we have, or we read all the comments below the post. That is a huge reward for us, because that's more, right? And what is happening when we receive that reward is our dopamine levels go up, right? So dopamine is released when we're looking for that reward reaction from outside of ourselves, and it boosts that dopamine hormone in our brain, and we feel, what happens is it leads to the reward of feeling good and a heightened mood. So of course, we're going to try the easiest, most fastest way to increase the dopamine in our bodies through, eating that piece of sugar, or watching their favorite show, or getting the reaction on Facebook or social media, or I don't know, if you can think of other rewards that that makes the reward of feeling good go up. I'd like you to comment below. Maybe I'm not thinking of something right off the bat, that maybe you could share that you find yourself kind of your go-to looking for that reward. A lot of times, another way that for me personally, looking for reward it's really funny, but I often look for a reaction from my family members. And so if I share something with them that I'm super excited about, I want to boost my dopamine by asking for some kind of compliment, or looking for a response for something I accomplished. Or when I was first married, this kind of comes up in my mind all of a sudden, is when I was first married, I was looking for a compliment on on my physical look, how I looked physically, and if I didn't get that reaction, then my mood would go down and my dopamine would go down. So these are all ways that we try to increase our mood and it's all in efforts to increase that dopamine in our life. Extreme conditions and examples of dopamine in our life leads to addiction, which is it's very common. Dopamine levels in extreme conditions or too much reward leads to addiction, which comes in so many forms, right? Addiction can be anything, and that is because the dopamine, we want too much, or we give our brains too much reward. So our dopamine goes up, and this is an extreme condition. And so when we are doing this over a long period of time, we are creating really deep neural pathways in the brain. And between the dopamine feel-good reward and the deep, neural pathway that we've created in our brains, it's very difficult to start a new habit, to get out of that, to create a new neural pathway and start a new positive habit and not revert to our old bad habits and revert back to our old ways of wanting that reward. So when you think about dopamine and reward in this way, or habits, forming new habits in this way, you can rest and sit back and think, okay, this is not something that I am inflicting on myself on purpose. It's actually something that has everything to do with dopamine. It's not your fault. You don't have to take the blame for it. It's the dopamine in your brain that wants that fix, that wants that high. And it's interesting when you think about that fix and the high. As a parent, we see our children forming habits, and that is why these screens are so addicting, not only because it gives our brains that dopamine high, but it also, all the colors in the screens lights up our brains, and it sparks up those I can't remember the word for it, but it has to do with that neural pathway. Anyway, so I think you get the point as far as how we can just take it easy on ourselves, take the grip off of ourselves, put down the beating stick, put down, set aside the negative self-talk, because you can give yourself a break now. You understand why it's so difficult to stop those old habits. So now I want to just kind of switch into, creating more balance in your life and a balanced level of dopamine. Balanced levels of dopamine is created from movement. So the brain activates dopamine. Movement activates dopamine in the brain. So when you're feeling low and wanting to go to that reward that you normally go to, the more often you recognize the mood that you're in and you choose to change your habit from going to check your phone or going to check the fridge, you go and you get the leash and you take your dog for a walk, or you go outside and do some yard gardening, or you go to the park and play with your kids. Movement. It's a very good alternative to increasing the dopamine in your brain, which is what it needs to get yourself out of that low mood. Lack of dopamine leads to boredom and low mood, which leads to bad habits, because we want to reward. We want to increase that reward. So you can see where I'm going with this is there's other ways. It's interesting that when you create new habits in your life, it doesn't necessarily have to do with the habit itself. It has to do with how you're creating balance in your hormones, in the dopamine level, and choosing to use movement versus, like what you normally choose is a natural way to increase your mood, get you out of that feeling of being bored. And that's why we kick our kids out of the house and say, go play, because it it naturally increases their mood and their dopamine, and we receive that reward from within. We don't have to look outside ourselves for the reward. Don't have to be constantly looking, to our partner or our kids to see if we're doing enough or feeling like we've accomplished something. We don't have to do that. We can feel accomplished in ourselves by just going out and switching activities and moving a little bit, or getting on your stationary bike, or going out for a bike ride with your kids. It's just, this kind of stuff just really interests me. I really dig it. And so I hope that it all makes sense to you, how I explained it. Give me a thumbs up if you caught all that. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. But this takes me right into, it leads me into the reason why I formed the workshop that I have coming up next Wednesday. It's at 7 p.m. It's an online workshop. And the workshop is called Manifest with Your Higher Self, which has everything to do with creating new habits. What do you want to create in your life? What kind of growth do you want in your life? What are you feeling discomfort around? What frustrates you? What causes you confusion? What is making you, we look at how your low moods, and we look at why you're low, why you're still in this lack of dopamine, and why you're going into the. All right, so let's go ahead and do a meditation if you would like to join me for that. It's always my favorite part. So thanks for hopping on here with me. So just find a comfortable chair and make sure that you can rest your feet on the floor, and you have a straight spine. And just start to notice your breath. Bring awareness to your breath. And close your eyes. And let's do a quick body scan of tension. Maybe the subject has brought up a little bit of tension in your body, which is a good thing. Your body communicates through tension and pain and discomfort. And like I said earlier, when your body is uncomfortable, it's the perfect time to notice your dopamine levels. Are they low? Are they high? Where are you at? If you're feeling discomfort, maybe you have a low mood. Maybe your mood is a little bit low right now. And you're like, you know what? That's all nice and dandy, that dopamine conversation, but how does that relate to me? This dopamine issue is such a powerful hormone. It's so powerful that it can either lead us to addiction of negative habits, or it can help us increase our mood and feel really good. So So lack of dopamine leads to low mood, bad habits. Increased dopamine leads to reward of good feelings and heightened mood. And extreme conditions of too much dopamine, when we reward ourselves too much with those instant easy buttons, it leads to addiction. So we need to find balance in this hormone. So doing a quick body scan, listening to your body where you feel discomfort. Oftentimes when I give people a massage, I find tension around their shoulders and neck. Upper back tension around the heart. Tension on top of the shoulders as if the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Tension up the neck as the tension rises up around your head and giving you headaches, like a vice around your head, gripping your head. The tension is gripping you. I also often find a lot of people holding tension in their hips and their hamstrings. The hips are what keeps us moving. It represents our growth. So if you feel stagnant, or you feel like you are lacking in growth currently, you might be feeling some tension in your lower back, your hips, your hamstrings, your knees, and even in your feet. So notice if your heart feels heavy, if the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you feel stuck in your hips, literally and figuratively. And just breathe into those areas and acknowledge them. That's all I'm asking you to do today, is just to acknowledge the tension, the language, the communication that your body is trying to send. The message it's trying to send you through the tension. You know, when we feel these feelings of discomfort, we instantly want to fix something. We feel like it's time. We feel like we're broken. Maybe, do you feel broken? And you feel like you need to be fixed. I hear that a lot too. Will you fix me, Wendy? I just need to be fixed. Will you just take this pain away? I can't take any pain away from you. I can't fix you. And you can't fix you. But you do have the power to heal your own body. and it's easier than you think. Releasing the grip around what the tension is supposed to look like or feel like, or like your body is supposed to look like or feel like. Releasing the grip around coming down on yourself too hard for not being the person you think you should be. Just let go. Imagine in your mind, with your eyes closed, that you might have some kind of notice, first of all, notice the discomfort and notice the grip that it has on you, and see if you can, your brain can imagine what is holding on to this discomfort. I mean, like an actual tool. And when I say vice, I mean literally a vice. Like you put something on. Good morning, Tanya. You get something out of the tool shop, out of your dad's tool shop. That's what I think of as my dad's tool shop. Is it a screwdriver? Is it a drill? Is it a saw? Is it something sharp? Or is it like a mallet or a hammer? What kind of tool comes up in your mind when you think of the grip within the discomfort? And see if your body responds to that. Like, tune in to the energy of that tool. Do you feel it in your hands? Are you holding it, or is somebody else holding it? Do you feel it in your shoulders? Is it like weighing down on your shoulders like a bag of boulders? Maybe that's the tool that you're using. You've got this backpack and you're constantly putting big boulders inside of this backpack, and it's really heavy, weighing you down. So what is the tool of choice that your body is habitually using to beat yourself up with? Yeah, that's what I kind of feel too. The vice is very gripping. So just notice that tool, and if you're holding it, or if somebody's holding it, else is holding it. Notice if you're doing it yourself, if you're winding down on yourself or beating yourself up, or if somebody else has that tool. I want you, in your mind's eye, to reach out, if it is somebody else, to open their hand and take it out of their hand. And if it's your hands, open one finger at a time. And let it drop. Your heart is heavy with this item or thing or tool that's been hanging out for a really long time. Your heart wants to be free of it. So allow your higher power to take it from you. Notice the green light surrounding this thing as you release it from your hands, as you pull it away from your hip or pull it off your back. Notice a green light surrounding it. And release it up to your higher power to be transmuted and transformed, so that the energy of this thing that's been hanging out for so long can assist you. So you're not actually letting it go. You're allowing it to heal and help you. Surround the area of your body that you find discomfort with green, bright golden light. And place your hands on this area of discomfort. And if it's in your back, just put it on, like if it's your lower back, put your hands on your belly. And just breathe into your hands. If it's your heart, place your hands on your heart. I can feel it. Breathe deep and exhale. I can feel the discomfort. In your mind, say the words, I see you, I hear you. I acknowledge you. I understand you. I love you. I thank you. Thank you for showing up, because your body is doing its job. Be grateful for the job that your body is doing, communicating to you clearly what it needs. And you can be grateful, have gratitude for the clear communication, so that when you release this to your higher power, it can be transmuted and transformed for the highest good, for your highest good. Because discomfort is not to bring you down. Pain is not to stop you in your growth. It is to help you see something about you that you wouldn't be able to see without it. So release that thing that is gripping your pain and stopping you from seeing deeper, seeing the deeper message. So when you move forward and you choose to use movement to increase your dopamine, to change your habits into positive habits, you are supporting yourself through that acknowledgement, just acknowledging what you need in your life. It's a love, a self-love. That is the reward. The self-love, because you chose to just be strong for yourself. That is the reward. So when you go back to the thing, the goal that you want to create in your life, you come from this place of self-love. You've already given yourself the reward before the goal was even accomplished. And your body can relax around knowing that you are choosing better choices for you that support your self-love. You don't need a response, an external response. You don't need that external reaction. You don't need it because you're sustained from within. The reward comes from within, which puts you on the path of growth towards accomplishing the goal, which will never actually be accomplished, right? Because when we get there, we always have a new one. So don't put so much weight into the goal itself, because there's always growth, right? We're always moving forward. So let's focus on how you receive the reward. The reward is not the goal itself, right? It's the feelings that we get from moving forward, from growing, from self-awareness. And that all starts with acknowledging and listening to the discomfort when it shows up, because that is part of the growth, right? So why do we want to create new habits? It's for growth. When do we start new habits? When we're uncomfortable. And how do we start new habits? You sit down and you listen to your body. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And I hope you join me again next Wednesday with Wendy at 10 a.m.